All right, clearly we did not have near the stuff we needed to. You got to give Northwestern credit. They did, and you know the games within the game, the rebounding, the turnovers, the paint that we talked about. We weren't good enough in those areas. So go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, Adam, you got Mike. Who else got? Oh, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, with the turnovers, what were you seeing on that front? What led to some of those?
You know, they have great activity on the ball with their help, and we anticipated that. I don't think we were individually strong enough with the ball in moments. I thought we over dribbled at times and didn't move it against their help. You know, we weren't, the ball did not move, and our pace in the half court specifically offensively wasn't good enough.
Obviously, the shots weren't falling in this one, but were you happy with the shot selection and the looks you guys were getting?
I thought we got some good looks that we didn't make. I thought their first stretch we pressed offensively, and that affected our shot selection at times. Again, I didn't feel like the ball moved, you know, well enough against their defense. You got to get the ball moving, especially the way they commit to on drives or they make you play in crowds. So it felt like, you know, this was the first time really our offensive inefficiency, missing, you know, we missed some good looks. It felt like it lingered as we went down to the other side defensively. And we've really done a good job this year of making sure that doesn't happen for the most part. And you know, we didn't do that tonight.
I know you said, I think yesterday, that you can't afford to make every game a big game, looking ahead to the tournament, NCAA tournament. But how disappointed are you that with so much on the line, that didn't seem the effort was there for the whole game?
Yeah, felt like we were a step slow, and you know, I need to reflect back on why exactly that was. We talked about it, like when you do what you're supposed to do throughout the course of the season, you play in big games at this time of year. Like there's no secret. It is what it is. Our next one's a big game, so is the one after that, and the two more we have remaining after that. So this was, you know, a big game. I don't feel like, you know, that was why we didn't have it. It felt like when we didn't see the ball go through early, we started to press. We got a little disconnected because of that. And, you know, I think that's the most disappointing thing. I thought we finished the game hard. We played hard, you know, specifically down the stretch. So, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't near good enough.
Some of these things you're talking about with turnovers, rebounding, things that you talked about that you then didn't go out and execute, kind of like the other day you talked about the miscommunications on rebounding leading to rotations. Are some of these issues that are cropping up now in these two losses things that you thought you were past?
You know, what I need to go back and look at, Adam, is maybe we need to simplify, you know, things to really help us. We had some ball screen coverages specifically this game that we wanted to do a little differently to maintain some matchups. And, you know, I guess we need to reflect back and see if that caused some confusion. You know, we watched our miscommunication clips from the game before, and, you know, I thought our communication was better today. It felt like we got beat in one-on-one situations more. Felt like our gap presence wasn't good enough. But a lot of theirs, you know, they had 25 made field goals on 5 assists. You know, it was different than the last game. So we didn't guard the ball well enough, and you know, a lot of it was one-on-one situations, but we needed better gap presence, you know, specifically against a team that we knew was going to attack the paint like they did.
Is any of that effort, you said you liked the effort that you closed with, but like you said, you looked a step slow. It looked like, I don't know, was the effort there for you?
You know, it wasn't what it needs to be. You know, I'm not going to. This is not an acceptable, you know, way to play this game. But I think there were stretches where we were playing hard, but there was almost the way we were letting our offense affect our defense felt just like almost like a new young team, which we haven't been. That seemed like you would expect something like that to happen in the beginning of the season. So, you know, we got to be able, that can't happen again, clearly. You know, I don't know if I can just look out there and say we just didn't play hard the whole game. I don't think that was it. I think there were some individual plays where we needed to be stronger and tougher guarding the ball, stronger and tougher on box outs. And, you know, we didn't have enough of that.
Yeah.
You said yesterday, I think it was, whenever we got through here, he liked the first day of practice coming off the Michigan game. He needed another one of those. Did you like what you saw Wednesday, and did you have any inclination that this could be coming, given what you saw in practice?
No, I felt like we practiced. We had 2 really good days of practice. Executed well, you know, covered. So that's where I think we got to look and see if, you know, maybe we need to simplify things a little bit to help us with our communication and positioning and stuff defensively, because, you know, this is now 2 games in a row that we haven't guarded at the level we had been. So I thought our preparation was good, and again, we've been really consistent with that. You know, felt like we didn't. Yeah, I felt ready. Woke up this morning, felt ready, and shoot around was good. Felt ready. We kept it short, kept it crisp. For whatever reason, it didn't carry over.
Rob?
Just to get it out there, some illness on the team. How healthy were the guys tonight? You just, not as an excuse, but are you healthy? The guys that were on the floor.
Yeah, you know, we were healthy enough. I mean, you step between the lines. You know, there's an expectation to perform at the standard that's in this program. You know, the illness is real, and we're fighting it. We're doing everything we can to try to, you know, protect the guys who are out there to be their best. But, you know, again, I don't think you can expect to be 100% this time of year. You know, maybe we were feeling that a little bit too much, but there's no excuse. You step between the lines, you perform to the standard. That's the expectation in this program.
Back-to-back games with the points in the paint difference is pretty large, but today it was more their guards, Martinelli, Barry, those guys. What did they do, or what did your guys fail to do that allowed them to score so much of their points in the paint when it wasn't mostly their big guy?
Yeah, well, I thought Martinelli, I mean, listen, he's a really good player, right? We didn't guard him with enough force like that. We didn't have that initial dribble. We didn't chest him strong enough. We allowed him to get deeper. He's got great touch, especially the closer he gets to the rim. You know, we talked about limiting Barry's 3-point attempts. Thought we did a good job executing that. But there were a couple situations where, you know, we let him get too deep in paint when we didn't need to. Again, he's been playing at a high level recently. So, you know, those 2 guys, we knew that they were going to come in. I thought, you know, Wyndham did a great job getting in the paint for him. You know, some of them obviously late there, but he even when it wasn't late, he was doing a good job getting in the paint, played well. You know, he had a good game against Oregon, so, you know, we were on high alert the way he played that game. But, you know, I think for us, you know, some of these were points in the paint were off of rebounds, certainly, but the driving and getting the ball in the paint, you know, again, we'll have to go back and look. Individually, we weren't good enough on the ball, but I would assume our gap presence wasn't good enough either.
Several games ago, maybe the Indiana game, you talked a little bit about how guys started pressing in that loss, trying to make individual plays and not team plays. Did you see some of that in this game in the second half after that opening run in the second half? You were taking, not you, but you guys were taking some, you know, contested one-on-one shots. Do you think they got away from the kind of offense that you want to run because of the deficit?
Yeah, I think we tried to hit some home runs, you know, and we tried to do it early in the half, and they made us pay for it. We took some low percentage shots, some long contested 2s, and, you know, ultimately they made us pay because they were getting much better looks. You know, obviously we have been playing, you know, well offensively the last couple games leading into this, but this is not a program that's going to be built upon whether you make or miss shots determines if you win or lose. Like we are going to be a good, tough, you know, defensive right, defensive unit, and when we're rolling offensively, it's gonna be great. When we're not, our defense needs to be good enough to help us win games. And it wasn't good enough tonight. And again, I thought our offense affected that, but we did press at times, which led to some individual plays, which just wasn't good enough.
Finish up with Jeff.
Yeah, how does, these things you were just kind of finishing up talking about, how does mental toughness a part of that? Of like, when you say bad offense turns our defense bad, right? We don't carry it over to the other end. Is that just a mental focus toughness thing at all, or is it just physical?
I think there needs to be a collective toughness, right? And we need to lead well in that moment to get guys like, hey, that's like, we can't have that type of offensive possession, but we can't let it affect us on the other side. We can't, go down and have an individual play and then come down and guard as individuals, right? So, I think just kind of all the way through we just didn't have the stuff that we've been consistent with. This is a mentally tough group, though. Like I don't question this group's mental toughness. I don't question our physical toughness. I question, right, us using said physical toughness like we're supposed to all the time. I think again some of that is like tonight. We talked about at halftime. We had multiple defensive rebounds that were team rebounds because we didn't hit. We just turned and they were able to tip the ball around. And then you saw in the second half them getting offensive rebounds because they were tipping the ball around. Like that's a physical toughness that we got to execute better. We're capable. We've shown it. We've shown we can do it. We didn't do it enough, tonight. And it was, we all had opportunities out there. So I think the biggest thing for us is, we gotta make sure this doesn't happen again. We're mentally tough enough, without question. This team has it, so I don't anticipate this happening again. But we also got to own it, and in order to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Coach, thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shane.